Man, what a show. See if this helps. What's up, Bo? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live reaction. That was an awesome show, right? Oh my gosh, what in the world is going on in championship wrestling? So much to talk about, especially our drive-in spooktacular and our Halloween special happening just 1 week from today. 3 p.m. bell time live in Memphis, but then also at noon next week, we found out it's not just a body bag match, but it's a Halston body bag match. How crazy. Nico Marquez has lost his ever-loving mind. Hello, Wrestling with MMA. Hey, cool nerd. Hey, you should come out to Dave & Buster's tomorrow. Also, AEW pay-per-view on November 7th in Memphis. Pete, seems like SoCal distancing is taking over. Man, who could beat these guys? That's actually their first title defense since our return to live action, other than Primetime Live this week. And I think they defended a couple of weeks ago on Primetime Live. But as far as championship wrestling presented from Pro Shingle, easy for me to say, is that was their first title defense. But who is this mystery guy, too? He kind of looks like Aaron Stevens, but it's not. I mean, the whole face, the hair, the whole thing. So I don't know where he came from, but he's helping them out a lot. And just when you think Ray Rosas, who you know I have an axe to grind with, but still 3-on-1, nobody could fight 3-on-1, especially against guys like Adrian Quest, Andy Brown, and whoever this guy is with a crowbar. Mr. E, oh yeah, Wrestling with MMA, SoCal distancing is running roughshod and they need to be stopped. Yeah, but who's going to stop them? I mean, Ray Rosas literally has no friends. And I can't say that I blame people for not having his back, but still, 3-on-1. I don't know how he's gonna fight that off, especially with his Arizona State Championship and his Heritage title that they seem to not be too happy about. Because if you remember back to when Rosas beat Watts in that open challenge match for the title, Quest and Brown got hot about it. That's when they split apart from Ray Rosas. So, what's up, Greg? How are you? I think Kevin is now one of my favorites. You talking about BHK? What a match he had. Yeah, he got busted open too. I think the elbow from Max Caster hit him, busted him open. 4 minutes, got absolutely cheated. I totally agree. Jake, what's up, man? Thanks for joining me on the live chat, the live reaction here. Mr. E says, any real heat between Dundee and Stunt? I heard this somewhere. I don't know, but they're going to be in the same place at the same time. 1 week from today, the superstar Bill Dundee is going to be at the Drive-In Spooktacular, courtesy of the Tub Pros. And, of course, Marco Stunt will be in action, courtesy of Easy Flea Tattoos. And did you guys see him get tatted up this morning? Yeah, they definitely did. BHK match was awesome. It was good to see Max Caster on the show, too. I saw him for the first time on Primetime Live. The promo afterwards probably should have gone to BHK just because he was the victor. But regardless, what's up, Dave? Dave Scooby in the house. Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle is when you do have some sort of crazy interruption. It seems like we do get those rematches. We saw it in the women's division, and we've seen it several times over the last couple of weeks. But, man, what a chaotic show. Let's talk for a second about this goofball, Nico Marquez. I would love to punch him right in the face. What do you guys think of this whole thing with the women's division? It might be entertaining nonetheless, but what is he thinking? And just so you guys know, he does not have the authority to cancel the women's division. He doesn't have the authority to keep us from having a women's championship. He cannot keep the women off the show. And then even though he did sign CC Chanel to a personal assistant contract, which is ridiculous, there's not much else he can do other than make their lives a living hell. So women's division is not going anywhere, whether he likes it or not. Just absolutely incredible. What do you guys think of that? Mr. E says, great show. Jake Hudson, I see Max Caster on GTS Wrestling. David says, hey, Dustin, another great show, plenty of action and surprise. Or two, always a great recipe. Thanks, David. If you missed the beginning of the show, you got to go back and check it out, man. Heather and Houston kicked it off with some chaos for sure. Jake says, might be lagging. Well, that's thanks to probably my internet connection, Maria. Huggy, Nico done turned into wrestling's version of Suge Knight. Great start to a Saturday with some great wrestling. If you guys did miss the action, all the matches are posted right now. All the feature matches are posted right now, so you can go and check them out. Wrestling with MMA says, why does Nico want to kill one of the best women's divisions in wrestling? It makes no sense. Now, if you remember back, he did get hit in the head with a bottle on accident during the Falls Count Anywhere match with Lacey Ryan and Heather Monroe. Maybe he still has an axe to grind there. Cool Nerd says maybe he just needs to feel special. That's true. Greg says fantastic women's wrestling. It's a crime not to have them. We will have them. Don't worry about that. They're actually the spooktacular main event match of next week, a Halston body bag match. Nico wants attention, says Jonathan. I think you're exactly right. David, I don't know what Nico's problem is, but maybe David Marquez will have to take an active hand. You know what? I think so. And we heard it just a couple of weeks ago that David Marquez, the primary owner, the majority owner of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingo in Hollywood, he did block that. Minority owner cannot cancel a women's division. So that was thanks to David Marquez and the board. Keith says, I want somebody to fire Nico. Well, first of all, make him wrestle all the women's division, then fire him. That would be a great gauntlet match. I don't think he would make it through the first round, though. Maria had the mom tone to her voice. Tread lightly, D. That is true, Mr. E. Did you hear what she had to say about Nico Marquez? I knew it was – I know he's talking about the internet. But what you said about Nico Marquez, oh, time to move on because I've seen that face way too many times. Greg, I love CC. She's so pretty and talented. CC Chanel, new contract and all, will be wrestling live in Memphis 1 week from today. You guys can go to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com and grab your tickets. All the proceeds go to the Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis and the Hero Empowerment Center. And the reason you guys should help the Hero Empowerment Center is not only to help fight crime, help kids, and help the community, but also that is the future home of Memphis Championship Wrestling. We will eventually record our program right here in Memphis, and that will be the home as soon as that building is completed. And it is a $74 million monster facility that will have state-of-the-art equipment and everything that we need. Absolutely awesome. So also, if you guys are outside of the market and you do have an extra $25 to donate, go ahead and buy a ticket on the website, and then we'll donate that to a family that can use it on Halloween Day. Wrestling with MMA says, yeah, but he deserved it. Yes, Nico deserves everything he gets. Ty, we need the ladies. Yes. Put all the women in a cage with Nico and him one arm tied behind his back, says Huggy. That's a great idea. You don't even have to tie a hand behind his back. Just put Nico inside the cage with the women's division. I am here for that. You know what? Put me in the ring with Nico Marquez. I would love to tear him limb from limb. What a jerk. Jeez. Everybody's agreeing with Greg there. EWE next week, do a blindfold match. Sorry, EWE. Next week is a Halston body bag match. Also, this is a good time. Guys, who's going to be Nico Marquez's wrestler? Like, who is Heather Monroe going to wrestle next week? I mean, I know we've said CC Chanel, but I don't think Nico wants CC in the ring. He doesn't even want her talking. So who could Nico get? Who to wrestle Heather Monroe next week on the Halloween special? Jake says, hello, Maria. David says, when you hear the mom tone, the time to mess around stops. Yes. Who's your pick on the – I don't even know who those guys are. I do watch UFC, but I'm not familiar with the fights that are going on tonight. But I am familiar with WWE Hell in a Cell taking place tomorrow night, absolutely free at Dave & Buster's in Memphis. Come find me, and I will give you a free game card. Cool Nerd says, that's a really great cause, and glad you'll be taping soon. Yes, hopefully very, very soon. We're waiting on the studios and everything to open back up in Memphis. It's still shut down. That is why we're doing an outdoor show with an outdoor after party. So the show is just $25. It gets your entire carload of people in. You can watch wrestling from the comfort of your own car. You can get out of your car and enjoy the action as well. We would like for you to mask up, even if it is outside. And then after that, we're all going to head to Kooky Canuck in Cordova. The after party is on the patio, and it's absolutely free. You can hang out with Watts, CC Chanel, Will Alday, myself, my Maria will be there, and all the wrestlers from Championship Wrestling and our Spooktacular will be there at Kooky Canuck in Cordova. It is free for the after party. Let's see. Let me get caught back up. EWE says next week and do a Halloween Havoc match. Bro, it's already booked. You have some great ideas, EWE, but stick around. I know this is your first week, but man, we have all sorts of surprises on the fastest hour in professional wrestling. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go back and look at some of our previous episodes. They're in the full episode playlist, along with feature matches, special segments, vlogs, and so much more. The YouTube channel here is absolutely loaded. And we've got about actually more than a quarter of a million minutes watched in the last 28 days. It's about 500,000 minutes watched in the last 28 days. And that's thanks to you guys. So we appreciate the support, and thanks for watching Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. Huggy says Vipress, Halloween, it's only right. I agree with you. So will we see Vipress versus Heather Monroe in a Houston body bag match? So from what I can gather, to win this match, you have to put your opponent in a body bag and zip them up. That's how you win, from what I'm getting from the United Wrestling Network. How crazy. Jonathan, when everyone from Hollywood comes to Memphis next week, hopefully they will get an opportunity to experience Memphis and see some sights like Graceland. Well, we are practicing social distancing, Jonathan. So when these guys and gals fly into town, we do have them set up at the Airbnb. And then also our event is outdoors, our after party is outdoors, and any other sightseeing and festivities that they decide to take part in, I promise you they will be safe and responsible. And that is not only from strict orders from the city of Memphis and the crew here at Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle, but then also the United Wrestling Network and David Marquez. It's very, very important to us. Most everybody will be tested for COVID as well. So I've got my test coming up tomorrow, but I might push it to Monday since I'm going to Dave & Buster's tomorrow night, which is very socially distant as well, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Keith says, better idea, Nico versus Watts. Watts would absolutely crush Nico. And speaking of Watts crushing somebody, I can't wait to see Watts in action live in Memphis next week. And so, like I say, we will have some highlights and such for you on that. Gosh, could you imagine Watts standing across the ring from Humongous? Humongous is about 6'8" himself. Absolute monster. Should be great. Let's see. Let me, if you guys have any questions or anything, put those in the chat here and I'll take all your questions. We have a really busy day ahead. I do have to go to Be Connected Wireless, one of the proud sponsors of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. I got to finish putting the touches on my Halloween costume contest. We're going to record some television. And then also at 5:30 today, we are going to be on site of the Hero Empowerment Center where our drive-in spooktacular is going to take place, because tonight there's a drive-in movie. So we're going to watch a movie out there tonight, and that's been advertised on television all across the Mid-South here. So we're doing several different events to raise money for the Hero Empowerment Center. We're doing our part, and then next week is drive-in wrestling, which will be a ton of fun, and I will be your host dressed in my Halloween costume. It's going to be awesome. Bo says drive-in wrestling sounds like a fun setup. Oh yeah, that's almost a year's worth of minutes in 1 month. Yeah, that's true, but that's legit. 500,000 minutes within the last 28 days on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle's official YouTube channel. So thank you guys. And yes, Mr. E, Anthony Idol is back. We'll be seeing a lot more of him. And then also, I can't wait to have Anthony Idol in Memphis. We were not able to have him this time around, but we will definitely have him coming to Memphis. There's a new Idol in Memphis. Bo says, Miguel trying to flex on Watts this week. I don't know what's going on with that, but I do know that Watts will be in Memphis. And then also I'm thinking that Watts might be on the show next week. I can't imagine that Miguel shows up, makes an example, beating up Lazarus of all people, even though he just got done fighting in a hard-fought match, and like he's sending a message. So I can only imagine what Watts is going to say and feel about that. Mr. E, Watts versus Jason Voorhees. Wow, you know Batman's going to be there too. So what about Jason versus Batman? It's going to be awesome. Drive-in movies are awesome. We're going to see that tonight, so we'll be out there for that. Reggie Cook, what's up? It says, it's great. A women's division is getting a championship title. That is coming very soon. So I don't care what Nico says. Do not listen to Nico Marquez. He does not have the authority to cancel the women's division or to cancel the championship that we're bringing on board. I promise you there will be a women's title that's coming very, very soon to Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingo. Keith says, also, I think MJF and Jericho are boring. What? Can't agree with you on that one, buddy. Also, if you want to see MJF, he was here at Championship Wrestling before he was in AEW as early as last year. So you can go and check that out as well. He did wrestle Willie Mack. So that is in the feature matches category there. You can find that match. Cool Nerd question. So once they crown a UWN World Champion, will it be defended on Championship Wrestling? And what will happen to the Heritage title? Yes. So there absolutely will be a United Wrestling World Championship. You saw Peter Avalon was announced for that. Watts, among others, who both of those guys will be on our Memphis show next week live here in Memphis. But yes, the United Wrestling Network World Championship will be defended on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingo, along with all the other affiliates of the United Wrestling Network. The Heritage title is more like a regional championship. You're going to see the Heritage title pretty much only be defended on Championship Wrestling. And then once we shift over and have Memphis Championship Wrestling, you will probably see our own Heritage title at that point. So just look at it like the NWA. The NWA World title, it gets to travel everywhere. And that's what the United Wrestling Network World Championship will be. Jonathan says, hope you had an excellent 5-star birthday. I did, man. Thank you so much. Yep, I turned 21 again. We carved some pumpkins at the pumpkin patch. Wrestling with MMA says drive-in movies are the only way to watch movies if you're not at home. That's true. So we'll be out on site at the Hero Empowerment Center tonight. For the Heal the Hood Foundation. Of course, we're doing all sorts of work to try to build the Hero Empowerment Center. Coley says, who won the United Tag Team titles after I take a shower? Who's won? Did you see the match? If not, you have to go back and check it out. The United World Tag Team titles were on the line today in the Dave and Buster's match of the week. David says, I really enjoyed Jericho and MJF's song and dance. Sorry, Keith. I agree, man. I thought it was great TV. I haven't seen the ratings yet, but I can only imagine that it slaughtered anything that it was going up against. Huggy says, make Nico present the title to the winner and rub it in his face. That is awesome. You know, the only thing that would be better is to have a women's legend hand that title over. But then in this case, it might be just super bittersweet to have Nico hand it over and then maybe get clocked over the head with it. Coley says, nobody trusts Nico. I don't like David's son. Man, you know, my Maria called it right off, you know, and I interviewed CC Chanel last Monday on the Championship Wrestling podcast presented by Be Free CBD. You guys can go check that out. It's a standalone interview as well as the podcast. And she and I both kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt and thought that maybe he had turned over a new leaf. And obviously not. The dude is a snake in the grass. And like I said, I'd like to punch him right in the mouth, to be honest with you. What a jerk. So, yeah, don't get me started on that. But, yeah, David Marquez needs to do something about his boy. That is for sure. Bo, if Miguel really wants to send a message, he'd show up at the Spooktacular and make it humongous versus humongous. You know what? You never know where Miguel is going to show up. And this is not me saying Miguel will be at the Spooktacular, but I'm saying you never know what's going to happen at Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingo. So it could absolutely happen. Mr. E, Memphis, fair warning. If Anthony Idol's coming to town, stock up on barbecue and cold Coors Light. Might hide your ladies, too. I love it. I love it. We were in discussions to bring Anthony Idol in, but there's some behind-the-scenes kind of stuff that's going on as far as plane tickets and things like that. So a lot of inside baseball there. But trust me, we hear you. We want to bring Anthony Idol into Memphis, and he knows it, too. We've had discussions about that. David says, my mom was always 39 plus. Yes, 39 plus. I'll be 22. How about that? That's not bad. 22 years old is what I am. Cool Nerd says, David, it was great TV and funny. I agree. There is always room for comedy in professional wrestling or any television, if you ask me. Coley says, Halloween is next week, not my hometown in New York. Yeah, I would imagine that New York, just like us, probably not having a very big Halloween. And that is why we're having our Halloween drive-in spooktacular. It's free candy for the kids. We have costume contests presented by our buddies at Party Works Tennessee, your discount holiday and party store. You can go to partyworkstn.com and you can actually shop online there. But we will not have kids in the ring. It will be socially distant. Everybody will get candy. And, trick or treating has been shut down this year, especially here in Memphis, Tennessee. The health department and the city have said no trick or treating, and that really sucks. So we're doing a big event, socially distant and socially responsible for those kids, and also to raise money for a great cause. So it should be really good. There's other stuff going on in Memphis, but there's nothing that's going to be like what we have. And if you look down the lineup, I'm not just saying it because it's my show. I'm saying it because legitimately it is from top to bottom AEW superstars, Championship Wrestling superstars, and Memphis Wrestling superstars, along with superheroes and Batmobiles and Ghostbuster cars and all sorts of stuff, all rolled into one for the kids and for the families, and it's socially safe. Mr. E, any Tojo Yamamoto stories? Man, yeah, when I trained back 20 some odd years ago, there was a Tojo Yamamoto Jr., and I used to talk to him about his dad. And come to find out when I got smart to the business that this guy was not even Japanese, he was Mexican. And you can only imagine, and this guy's my friend, you can only imagine how just disappointed I was that he lied to me. He was working me. That's my Tojo Yamamoto story. And I do have a cool Tojo Yamamoto t-shirt. And if you go to grindcitydesigns.com/championship wrestling, you can find a Tojo Yamamoto t-shirt and you can order it right now, Mr. E. Big Metroid fan says Caster's a good competitor. Yeah, Max Caster is a good competitor, and he's even a good heel. Even when he was given his promo afterwards saying that winners rhymes are for winners, you almost don't like him, and you're not supposed to, but like he just has that unlikability about him for a heel, which is really good, and he's a fantastic wrestler too. Mystery says 46 and in my prime. You've got a couple of years on me, Mystery. I'll be honest about that. David says he agrees with MJF and Jericho was funny. Bo says MJF's high school musical history paid off in spades in that dinner. He knocked it out of the park, to be honest. Yes, and to put him next to Chris Jericho and for him to really stand out was awesome. So you have a bona fide superstar in the making there with MJF. Cool Nerd says, forget the kids. What about us wrestling fans? No, I know you're kidding, but that's exactly why we're doing the wrestling here. So Cool Nerd, you're in the Memphis area. You definitely need to be at our drive-in spooktacular. It's 3 p.m. bell time. It will be from 3 to about 6. And then we have our official patio after party taking place at Kooky Canuck in Cordova. It's going to be absolutely awesome. We'll have music, costumes, all the wrestlers will be there. It's going to be a real fun time. Keith, what's a Halston body bag match? That's a good question. The loser, in order to win the match, you have to put your opponent inside of a body bag. And I'm not sure how Halston Body is going to be involved in that other than being at ringside, but we're going to find out on our Halloween special next week. And we'll be decked out in our costumes. And Todd Kinley was in the live chat today, and he said that there's going to be some Halloween festivities going on at the broadcast booth. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And also, what kind of zingers and one-liners will Todd Kinley have? He always has something up his sleeve. David, that's one of the things about the shutdown that breaks my heart. Our favorite holidays, having the damper, put the damper on them. Hopefully a vaccine will be available soon. Yeah, unfortunately, I do not think that a true vaccine will come until mid to end of next year. And they have not tested a vaccine on kids. And I'm not here to give you all the updates on the vaccine and all that kind of stuff. But you have to think about it. Even if there was a vaccine right now that they came out with, you don't know the long-term effects of a vaccine. If you take a medicine, you don't truly know if it's a good medicine until the longevity of after taking it. So at this point, it's just really, really early. I mean, to come up with a vaccine, 9 months or 8 months after a virus hits, that's a really tough call. And, that's not a political answer. That's just a legit answer. So we have to mask up and be socially safe and responsible. And that's what it's all about. Whether you believe in it or not, you should definitely help protect your neighbors and the people that are around you. So even at Dave & Buster's, I mean, we're all spaced out pretty far table-wise, but then we all wear masks. And that doesn't mean take the mask off at the table. I mean, I wear my mask the whole time, especially with my Maria expecting our baby boy literally any week now. So coming soon, guys. Whew, your boy's about to get real busy. But yeah, hopefully a vaccine will be available at some point, but I don't see it happening until probably the end of next year. And that's just me personally. Wrestling with MMA, is Houston available for life coaching? Yes. Have you listened to Houston's podcast? It's called New Job Who Dis. Super great guy. I promise everybody, whether you like Houston or not, and you're not supposed to because he's a bad guy, but if you meet him, you will like him even more. You won't have a choice. Mystery says Pro Shingle versus Sonic versus Be Free CBD. Okay, they don't clash. They're actually a great team. They are. We're all a great team, man. I love everybody there. Junior Garlic Butter Bacon Burger. Maria, she hates when I sing it, but it gets stuck in my head. Jonathan Ray, Tojo was an international ladies' man. Oh, yeah. Keith, must have watched Undertaker's matches to get ready. Yes, that's a good idea, the body bag. Or that's really popular with Darby Allin at this point. Coley says social distancing does it again. SoCal distancing does it again. Yeah, they did. Unbelievable. They'll get what's coming to them, though. I just don't know when or how. Let's see. Mr. E. Houston sit atop the body bag once the shut to in the match. Houston body. Huggy says, I got a feeling the ladies want to test Nico for the vaccine. Oh, now that's getting a little deep, but yeah, that would be good. Coley, I'm going to lose some weight. I don't like gaining weight. Mr. E, children and vaccines, very, very delicate. Well stated, Dustin. They really haven't. There hasn't been a single solitary test on kids. And one of the big problems right now in the world is kids in school. And here in Memphis, it's a big problem with kids in sports. And we all want kids to be in sports and be in school, but it's just not. There was another school that completely shut down their homecoming just last night because of an outbreak. And unfortunately, I don't think that the schools or the sports are being forthcoming with information like they should to help protect the people. They'd rather protect their game than the people. And that would be the same thing as if I tested positive for coronavirus this week. I would not want to cancel my Halloween spooktacular. And I wouldn't cancel it. I would just have to figure out a way to do it without me being there. But you have to be socially responsible. That is the number one thing. And you have to be transparent and let people know that if there is a risk, if there were somewhere, if their kids were somewhere at school and they were in the same vicinity of somebody who did test positive, then you've got to let those people know. And gosh, man, if you guys ever hear David Marquez talk about it, he is a big stickler on this too. And that's why I'm glad to be partnered with David. But it is a delicate situation. And unfortunately, it's been turned into a political situation because one guy does wear a mask and one guy doesn't wear a mask, and it shouldn't be. It's a human issue that we have, not a political issue. Do you guys have any championship wrestling masks? No, Cool Nerd, we do not. One of the things I was trying not to glorify the mask wearing, but it does look like that masks are going to be around for a while. I was at my brand new outfitter, Suits You, which you can go to suitsyouonline.com, picking up my brand new suit for the sports ball and for championship wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And they have matching masks with their pocket squares in their suits. So this is becoming a trend now where people are matching up their masks with their outfits. So I am a little bit behind the curve on that because just like many of you, I don't like masks, but I do wear a mask every single time I leave the house. I actually had a dream last night that I forgot my mask, and I was like, oh, freaking out, like, oh no, I can't get sick because my Maria's pregnant and blah, 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 blah. So no championship wrestling mask just yet, but there are primetime live masks. Go to UnitedWrestlingTV.com, I believe. Wrestling with MMA says, I'll have to check that out. I did not know he had a podcast. Yes, Houston Body does have a podcast. Go to any of his social media channels and you'll see it. New Job Who Dis. Yeah, and it's a very funny, fantastic podcast. But yep, he's got one. Coley says, Ray Rosas love honeycomb bread. I don't know what that means, but probably. Who doesn't like honeycomb? David says, I remember reading about Tojo Yamamoto feuding with Tony Adams. She knew how to wield that kendo stick. Oh my gosh. What about the wooden sandals? Those wooden sandals of Tojo's are on display at King Jerry Lawler's Hall of Fame Bar and Grill here in Memphis, Tennessee. Coley says Nico Marquez eats garbage pizza. David Marquez likes spinach pizza. Well, I like pineapple on my pizza. So do you have a problem with that? Everybody else seems to, but I think it's delicious. Greg, where are the Wolves at? He's my favorite tag team in pro wrestling. I'm asking the same thing, brother, and I was asking the same thing about my boy Anthony Idol, the Neon Phenomenon, and he's back. So stay tuned. You'll see these guys. You got to think, man, there is so much talent going on in the United Wrestling Network, and we only have one hour of television. And there are so many stories that we're trying to tell. Not only the Spooktacular live event, but then you've got the women's division storyline that's very, very popular. You have the Watts storyline that's very, very popular. And then you have SoCal Distancing versus Ray Rosas. There's so many stories in so little time, but stick around. All these guys and gals, we'll fit them in, and you'll see your favorites. Let's see. Coley says, I'm 29. My mom died of cancer. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. I don't really know where to go with that, Coley. I just sorry to hear that, man. Keith, someone should make a championship wrestling video game. I would love that. If you go to Rhino JB, it's twitch.tv/RhinoJB, RYNOJB. They actually have a championship wrestling setup and an online wrestling league that you can create your characters. There are created characters of Dustin and Maria Starr, Zicky Dice, and so many more, just outlandish characters. But they do have a championship wrestling setup, and we've actually featured them right here on the program before. Mr. E says, speaking of suits, you may know, Nick Aldis has a suit line out. Yes, that's very cool. And if they sold the Nick Aldis suit line at Suit You, I would absolutely pick it up. But Suit You is the official outfitter of Championship Wrestling and Dustin 5 Star. So you'll be seeing those suits starting next week's my Halloween costume. So starting the following week, you'll see my brand new suits from Suit You. David says, I feel for you, Coley. Mine did too. Yeah, we've had, actually we lost Maria's grandmother just a year ago from cancer. It really sucks. Huggy says, I love pineapple on pizza. Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Pineapple, ham, red peppers, and bacon on my pizza. That sounds good, David. I'm on a diet right now, so I can't. Bo says, born and raised in Hawaii, pineapple on pizza is like second nature. Okay, all right. We got it going on in here. Mystery, those wooden sandals are in most creative wrestler modes on WWE games, and there's a reason for that. Memphis Wrestling lives on, the classic days of Memphis Wrestling. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is a bigger advocate and fan of classic Memphis Wrestling than myself, and I don't care what anybody says. If they say otherwise, they are a damn lie. I'm just going to say that. Coley says, I'm going to eat one Snicker a day. Man, I wish I could eat one Snicker a day. Wrestling with MMA, Rhino JB's Twitch stream is phenomenal, and he is super positive. Oh, yeah, that's my boy. Ryan J. Barber, and the J stands for phenomenal. Mr. E. Coley, blood, my heart is with you. I lost my mother last year. It isn't easy. Stay strong. David, love to get one of those Nick Aldis suits. He always looks sharp. You know, that's one thing about the National Treasure carrying the 10 pounds of gold is he looks like a champion. And he's a good friend of ours. I actually defeated Nick Aldis for the Global Force Wrestling World Championship, only to have it snatched from my grasp by his wife, Mickie James. Anyways, you can go check that out. The match is on 5 Star Fan Ham right here on YouTube. And that was also a benefit show that we did to help a little girl that was fighting cancer. Let's see here. Where does the video game in Twitch? It's twitch.tv/RhinoJB. Mr. E, Jim Cornette will argue he's a bigger fan, maybe. Yeah, Jim Cornette's all over the place, man. Friend of mine, but that doesn't mean that I agree with anything or everything that he says. Anyways, I have a couple of more minutes here, guys, and then I got to head out. I got to get all decked out. I want to tell you what my Halloween costume is going to be, but I feel like it should be a surprise. What do you guys think? I feel like it should be a surprise. And I think that my Maria has had a tough time finding one that fits. just because of the baby in there. You know what I mean? So I can't say that very loud, I guess. Get me in trouble. But do me a favor, everybody, on social media, follow us at CW30 Wrestling. We also have an email that goes out every single Friday that gives you all the updates on where you can catch us and what's going on. If you want to be a part of that email, it's very easy to subscribe. You get one email per week. You can just type your email address in the comments here, and I'll jot it down, and you'll start getting email as soon as next week. But you get one email per week, and it just gives you all the latest on what to expect. If there's any discount codes or anything like that, you obviously get those in your email box. Let's see. David, speaking of which, Dustin, where do you get your suits? They look great too. Thank you, man. I was getting them at Gents Formal Wear. And then now, starting next week, I'll be getting all of my suits from Suits U. It's SUITS and then the letter U. They are online. I believe it's actually, let me tell you exactly what it's suits letter U online.com. And if you spend $50 or more, you get free shipping with the code FREE50, FREE50. So suitsuonline.com. They're located in Memphis, Texas, and Charlotte. And it's a really big suit company, and they are awesome. Just wait till you see what I got for the sports ball. And, of course, each and every week, not next week, I'll be in my Halloween costume next week. But after that, you'll. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys. Be sure to stay safe. And like I say, even if you are outside of the market, our ticket for our Spooktacular go to a fundraiser to help us build the Hero Empowerment Center, where we will tape our wrestling program, and you'll see many of the same faces, but also you'll see brand new faces, and a lot of those you'll see next week at the Drive-In Spooktacular. And then also, for those of you who can't make it to the Drive-In, so there are a live event in Memphis next week. There will be highlights and photos and different things that we're going to share for weeks to come, so that way you guys will feel like you saw it, even though if you weren't there live. And you guys are all saying thank you for a show, see you next week. But no, thank you guys, and we appreciate that. And just stay tuned to the YouTube page. We have brand new videos that air every single day. We just recently put some videos out of me and Maria acting goofy on Halloween. It's one of our favorite holidays. Even our son Brady got involved, dressed as Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and just it was. The outtakes on those are a television show in itself, but we had a lot of fun with it, and we always do. Can't wait to get dressed up for next week's, not only the Halloween special on CW30 and right here on YouTube, but then also for our Drive-In Spooktacular. So everybody have a safe week, and tune in on Monday. It's the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by Be Free CBD. I'm planning to have my guest be My Maria, because anytime we do a live event or have something big going on, it's always good to get her perception and her vision from it, because hers is a little bit different than what mine is. Obviously, I'm all in head first in professional wrestling. She tries to keep me straight as far as the business is concerned and everything. So we'll have My Maria on the podcast on Monday. That's at noon. It's presented by Be Free CBD. And then fast forward to next Saturday, I'm going to go get some Sonic. Yeah, get you something better than a pillowcase full of candy, the Trick or Treat Shake or the Junior Garlic Butter Bacon Burger. Anyways, so My Maria will be on the podcast Monday, and the next week, Halston body bag match in our Halloween special at noon, and then at 3 p.m., it's the Championship Wrestling Drive-In Spooktacular live here in Memphis, Tennessee. And ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com is where you can get your tickets. And until then, guys, I really, really do appreciate you, not only for joining me here for the live reaction, but then also for joining me on the live chat for the episode. If you missed any of it, go back and watch it. All of those wrestling matches that you saw and many of the segments are already posted in their entirety, separate from the show, but then also you have the full episode. I appreciate it, guys. Until next time, I am Dustin Starr saying, so long, everybody. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.